Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Accountants.
It's been a busy week for the FASB, as they have once again had to deal with some difficult topics.
Very true, and with their approval ratings dropping so rapidly in the polls, they needed to get a few things done to restore the public's confidence in the accounting system.
We have many issues to get to today relating to disclosures, fair value issues, inventory, and more.
Of course, our top story today is the release of the new standards for going concern.
Ironically, there has never actually been a standard for going concern.
Yes, the only thing we had to go on was in the audit literature, right?
That's right.
And that really made things backwards because essentially the auditors had to make decisions for management.
True, very true, but fortunately, the FASB has given us guidance on going concern.
And with the current economy, I know that's an issue on many people's minds.
The first thing they had to do was define going concern.
And that was critical to the issue. They defined it as follows. Substantial doubt about an entity's ability to continue as a going concern exists when the aggregate of the conditions indicate that it is probable that the entity will not be able to meet its obligations when due within 1 year after the financial statement release date.
Well, things could get a little stormy, but here to clear that all up with our weather is our Chief Meteorologist, Scott Willard. Scott?
Thanks, Jen, and we're looking forward to what's shaping up to be a beautiful day across the country. As we look at the map, we see that we do have a front of substantial doubt about going concern coming in across the northeast coast. But pushing up from the south, we also have a management mitigation front. It appears that this front will have an impact on the substantial doubt, thus bringing in some nice weather. We're expecting the counterfront to mitigate these issues, and all models appear to show this mitigation plan front will actually occur. The effect of this will be some nice disclosures which will describe the conditions leading to the substantial doubt, management's evaluation, and management's mitigating plans. There could be a wild card here as we will have severe storm warnings in the Midwest, and if these do develop, then we could be facing substantial doubt about going concern one more time. In that event, we can expect even more disclosures as this system will bring a statement that there is substantial doubt about the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, as well as the disclosures I already mentioned. Outside of that, we should be looking at a great week. Oh, and we have a record tsunami predicted to hit Los Angeles. Back to you, John.
So I suppose we'll just have to keep an eye out for those conditions so we can decide whether to consider that substantial doubt. Thanks, Scott.
Now it's time to take a look at some news. Here's Jan with an update on some fair value measurement issues.
Thanks, Jen. The FASB has decided that many aspects of fair value measurement are simply too complicated and provide limited value to the users. In this latest development, the FASB has decided that investments for which fair value is measured at net asset value per share or its equivalent, using the practical expedient, should not be categorized in the fair value hierarchy. Removing those investments from the fair value hierarchy not only eliminates the diversity and practice resulting from the way in which investments measured at net asset value per share with future redemption dates are classified, but also ensures that all investments categorized in the fair value hierarchy are classified using a consistent approach. Investments that calculate net asset value per share but for which the practical expedient is not applied will continue to be included in the fair value hierarchy. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Roger Weeken of We Can Take 'Em Down. Have you or a loved one been injured by the asset valuations? Then call me and we can both make some money. Well, actually I'll make most of the money, but you'll probably feel a little better.
We Can Take 'Em Down and Associates, accounting injury attorneys.
So how was your weekend?
Pretty good, but I spent a lot of time going over my new insurance contract. It's all pretty confusing.
No doubt. But the accounting is even more confusing. For this reason, the FASB has taken a new look at the accounting for short duration contracts.
John's in our studio kitchen with Marcia Stewart to see what the FASB's been cooking up. John?
Thanks, Jan. So Marcia, what are we looking at here?
Well, John, the FASB created a proposed recipe for insurance contracts. However, after taste tests, people overwhelmingly supported retaining the existing recognition and measurement guidance for short duration contracts.
Was that dish too spicy or what?
Well, most were comfortable with the old recipe and noted that the existing accounting model for short-duration contracts works well and that no changes should be made to the existing guidance.
Perhaps they wanted to add a new side dish for variety.
Yes, the users felt that additional disclosures about the liability for unpaid claims and claim adjustment expenses would add some interest to a traditional recipe.
I suppose that those would increase the transparency of significant estimates made in measuring those liabilities.
Personally, I like to think that those disclosures would provide additional insight into an insurance entity's ability to underwrite and anticipate costs associated with claims.
So Marcia, what have you prepared for us today?
This is one of my favorites, John. Pan crab cakes with mango syrup and fresh asparagus. Here, try some.
No thanks.
No, it's really delicious. You need to try this.
Save some for us, Marcia.
Let's move on. Before the global financial crisis that began in 2008, both the FASB and the IASB began a joint project to improve and to achieve convergence of their respective standards on the accounting for financial instruments.
Ironically, the global economic crisis further highlighted the need for improvement in the accounting models for financial instruments in today's complex economic environment.
Yesterday, we sent our accounting correspondent, Jeff Wilson, out onto the streets to find out what people think about this topic. Let's see what he learned.
What could be done to improve reporting for financial instruments?
I'd like to see them require equity investments to be measured at fair value, with changes in fair value recognized in net income.
Any ideas on how we could simplify the impairment assessment of equity investments without readily determinable fair values?
Well, I suppose we could accomplish that by requiring a qualitative assessment to identify impairment.
What do you think about the fair value of financial instruments measured at amortized cost?
What? Here, get yourself a cup of coffee.
Okay. Hey, do you think non-public business entities should get any breaks for financial instrument accounting?
Absolutely. Let's start by eliminating the requirement to disclose the fair value of financial instruments measured at amortized cost.
That would be nice now, wouldn't it?
The FASB has launched its simplification initiative, and Taco Ball has jumped on board, announcing our new Simple Taco. No meat, no fresh vegetables to get in the way of the flavor, and no salsa to upset your stomach. Just a good, simple shell. Taco Ball. Live más simple.
Well, now we finally come to the part of the show that I know I've been waiting for.
Yes, the crowd is getting pretty thick out there. Let's face it, our musical guest is a legend.
Yep, he's been around longer than most of us can remember.
Almost as long as our current inventory accounting rules.
Let's go to Jen right in the middle of the excitement to tell us more. Jen?
The crowd is buzzing with excitement as they look to a new chapter in accounting for inventory. Under the old rules, you were required to value inventory at the lower of cost or market. Of course, that could be a replacement cost, net realizable value, or net realizable value less an approximate normal profit margin. Many stakeholders have felt that this is too complex because of the potential outcomes, and thus the FASB has given some relief. And here to tell us all about it on our own stage is country legend Wally Nelson.
They changed the rules again, and I can't wait to get in the books again. Writing down my inventory was a sin, but I can't wait to try it once again. Valuation drop down below the cost that I had once expended. Now I'm looking at valuation that is net realizable value. So what should I do? Take the selling price in the ordinary course of life, less the cost to finish up, dispose, and drive. Now inventory's on the books just right.
Wow, the legend lives on. Back to John and Jan.
That was awesome. I just love how he poured out his heart for the simplified method.
Absolutely. Remember, however, that this will not apply if using LIFO or the retail inventory method.
True. Well, that's our show for today. Join us tomorrow when we have all the presidential candidates in the studio for mud wrestling. Bye-bye.
Bye.